Time is precious and you want to make the most of it with the little time that you do have to train. So should you prioritize cardio or weightlifting? Well, in this video, I want to give you the answer, and we're starting right now. Welcome to Dad Bod Fitness. If you and I are just meeting, my name is David and I help crazy busy dads to be able to build a physique. If you want to maximize your muscle growth, strip the body fat, and then transform your life while still leading your family, consider subscribing. Make sure to watch until the end of the video because I have a special tip for how you as a parent should approach this topic and ultimately how you should tweak your training. So the biggest question here is, what is your goal? Are you looking to maximize calorie burn? Do you want to actually gain mass and size? So are you wanting to build muscle? Do you want more endurance, or do you just want power and strength in the gym? Are you trying to actually lose weight, or for that matter, are you trying to gain weight? Do you have a history of heart issues and heart problems in your family? And do you actually want to try to reduce your own risk of those issues? Now, if your goal is to maximize body composition, then weight training is the #1 best way to do this. And that is because weight training is the key to building and maintaining lean mass in the body, therefore increasing body composition. So when looking at this question, it's pretty clear from the studies that a combination of both cardio and weight trainings is the optimal approach if you're trying to boost your health markers, enhance your overall fitness, and maximize fat loss. If that is your goal, then strike a balance between the two. This might be a 50-50 split, but I would recommend that even if that is your goal, I would still highly recommend keeping weight training as your core, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. Now, another interesting fact is that according to the Scientific American, if you perform cardio and weightlifting, research has shown that if you do cardio before weightlifting, you can actually increase the total number of calories that you'll burn. But again, what's your goal? Because if you do cardio first, sure, you then might burn a greater number of calories. But then on the flip side, you're going to decrease the effectiveness of any weight training that follows it. Pre-workout cardio will fatigue your muscles. It increases blood acidity and it lowers your mental focus. And so ultimately, what does that mean? Higher blood acidity means hydrogen ion circulation increases in your blood and actually pushes you closer to a point of unsustainability. And now, I'm not going to pretend that I understood 100% of what I just said, but the bottom line is that ultimately what that does is it further decreases your performance. So it's clear that if you want to improve your body composition, cardio first is probably not the best option. Because if you do cardio first, you're then going to minimize the potential and the muscle that you can build with your resistance training, which is ultimately going to be the #1 way for you to actually increase and maintain your lean mass and muscle. But you do still need cardio, so how do we use it effectively in our training? If you want to maximize your muscle growth and get started on a complete training program that's going to get you set up on your training and your nutrition, make sure to click the link down in the description below for my free 3-day pull push legs program. You're also going to find some great cardio exercise options within that workout along with an ab workout. It's going to set you up with several different scheduling options and give you a guide for the program. So with all that said, let's actually look at a summary of a meta-analysis that was done. This was a meta-analysis of 21 studies that was done back in 2012. I just want to let you know that all of the links to the articles and research that I used while diving deeper into this topic are all down in the description below. Now, remember, it's by no means a 100% exhaustive list, but there are some great resources on this topic that give a really clear picture. So basically what this study found was that 3 days or more of aerobic training that were about 20 to 30 minutes or more in duration significantly impact strength and hypertrophy. So if you want to build muscle or increase your body composition, then it's probably best to limit your cardio to about 3 days of 20-minute sessions per week. And this seems most important if running is your form of cardio. Long, high-impact cardio tends to negatively impact strength and hypertrophy in particular. So because of that, you may want to limit the duration of your cardio to less than 30 minutes or pick a cardio option of something like cycling or rowing. And once again, running in particular seems to have a major impact, especially for lower body strength gains. But you runners out there, don't let this discourage you. Even if running is your favorite form of cardio, or that's just what you tend to do, simply separate your running from your leg training by at least 24 hours. And the final thing that the study found was that the upper body tends to just be less impacted overall. Now, from my own experience, I have found that through resistance training, I have significantly increased my food intake without unnecessary weight gain. I've boosted my metabolism and built my physique much more with resistance training over the course of 3 years than I ever thought possible when I was doing HIIT training for years on end. So once again, this brings me back full circle to my point that I mentioned earlier, that even if overall health and fitness is your number one goal, I would still highly recommend keeping resistance training as your core, regardless of your priority. And research definitely backs this up as well and recommends that no matter what your goal, it's currently shown that it's ideal to perform both weight training and cardio, but that you should prioritize your weight training. And one other reason for this is that in this meta-analysis, it was actually shown that concurrent resistance training and aerobic training didn't negatively impact the aerobic training. So cardio can negatively impact weight training, but weight training can't negatively impact cardio. So since you do need both, make sure that your weight training is set in place where it's not going to be negatively impact, and sprinkle in cardio wherever else it can fit. We know that resistance training is the number one way to increase lean mass and muscle and to ultimately change your body composition. And lean mass burns more calories than fat and will also increase your resting metabolic rate. And so that just means you can eat more.
I mean, you can eat almost everything.
Let me in, I'm starving!
And with more muscle, you just plain look better. And ultimately, that's what we're all striving for, no matter what our goal is. So, here are my recommendations for cardio training. If you need to do cardio on the same day as your weight training, if possible, try to separate it by at least 6 hours. But now, for you as a parent, that's probably not an option. So if that's the case, then just make sure to limit your cardio to about 30 minutes or less, and do it about 3 days or less per week. In particular, if your goal is to build muscle. Mix up your cardio, but don't overdo it on running and lots of high intensity interval training. But the bottom line is, we need cardio. We want a strong, healthy cardiovascular system, so we still want to make sure that we're doing it. Okay, so now on to my special tip for you as a parent. Time is so short, especially for parents, or even for anyone who's living a really crazy and hectic lifestyle. So we have to focus on being efficient. We don't always have the luxury of doing 2-a-day workouts, or doing both cardio and weightlifting within one training session, or spending a ton of time at the gym. And this is why I have worked to incorporate cardio within my weight training. Weight training can be cardio, especially if you lift heavy enough, perform supersets, or reduce your rest time in between sets. So play with the balance of that and prioritizing your muscle gains. Because as you increase the cardiovascular pressure during a training session, it will then decrease your ability to actually do more reps and then see more gains. So in particular, I have found the best way to do this is through a full body routine. And that's actually the routine that I'm going through now. I run basically a 3-day split, 3 days on, all separated by a full rest day in between. And then I also have another day of cardio as well. That in particular works for my work schedule, my recovery ability, and all the other demands and stress on my life. And now I have a couple options for a full body routine. I'll link them up in the card above and down in the description below. But ultimately, it's always going to be a balance. If you enjoyed this video, would you tap that like button? It really would mean the world to me. And don't forget to subscribe and make sure to tap the notification bell as well so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos when they're published. Let me know in the comments down below what you did or didn't like. And as always, be intentional, bring the intensity, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.